Okay, so I don't know, today I feel like I know the energy feels like frustrating. Like I just feel super frustrated. It's like, oh my God, how long can this go on? I just can't even believe how this drags on and on and on and on. This just blows my mind. And there's just one horrible thing after another happening, and it just drags. It's like the Chinese water torture. That's what I feel like. We're just being tortured. Like, this is so crazy. I saw a thing that showed the floods in Kentucky, and I guess, I'm not sure, you can look it up, but it seems that the map of the floods lines up with the map of tunnels. So are they flooding out tunnels and murdering at the same time? I heard somebody put it out there about, and not just one person, a couple, but see, we're all connected. So we're all having these same thoughts at once. It trips me out how much, like, how much crossover there is, and things that I say, and then I'll go on TikTok and someone's saying the same thing, and it is, it's crazy. So this other conjecture thing is that the people, a second, let me think what it was. I always go off on the explanation and forget what I'm talking about. That the people who, the floods, the people who, oh my gosh, I feel more awake, but I feel still out of it, like really weird. Yesterday when my eyes kept, well, for 2 days, the one day on the drive, and then 2 days since I've been here, where it feels like I'm getting this, like being, I think it's gassed. I 100% think that we are being chemically gassed like they've done in a million other wars, and that's what they're doing. And so somebody told me on TikTok to try colloidal silver in a little spray bottle. So I did that yesterday, and it stopped the burning. And then my eyes were fine for a long time. And then later in the evening, it started to happen again. I just sprayed them again, and they didn't start burning. So I'm going to keep trying the colloidal silver. I don't want to do any, like, even on the eye drops thing, because Ray said, do some eye drops. So I've already mentioned that on the eye drop commercials now, they say it's got the new Neo bot technology. So everything that they are giving us has got more chemicals, or more of these little creatures that are made out of that, the graph stuff that you can't talk about. So they're putting these little creatures in everything. I mean, they're 100% trying to kill us. I mean, and we're owned by the corporation. Like, it's weird because it just seems like so many people still trust, like medicine and stuff. I've seen, when I was talking about my eyes, a bunch of people on the TikTok went on and were saying they were having the same thing with their eyes and blah, 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 and a whole bunch of people. And, some people were saying, oh, I just take Benadryl every day and stuff. And so people have been going in and saying, don't take Benadryl, don't take these chemicals. They're putting something in it. And they are. I mean, how many months ago did that one woman dissolve her vitamins, and that stuff was in her vitamins? When they're telling you, oh, go drink some tap water, please, please, it's so good for you. And at the same time, it's coming out on the news that the, something got messed up with the, changing poop into drinking water. So they changed the sewage into drinking water because, that's what we deserve. And with all the chemicals and stuff. But somehow all of the stuff that is excreted from people who are sick with the flu, the Dovic, that they go to the bathroom, it all goes into the sewage. And then somehow when they're cleaning it, they just can't get that part out. So, huge concern. And the monkeypox is completely, like, if you go and look into that, it completely crosses over with AIDS, but, when we're talking about the Fauci, this is his game. This is what he does. So probably even made it more, faster transmission or whatever. Which, by the way, I talked to my brother yesterday, and I'm still going to try and remember what it was I was going to say. But when I talked to my brother yesterday, it was really good because I hadn't just sat and talked to him. It's been more of like text or so-and-so said this or whatever. So when I talked to him, this is what he told me. So because I remember I said that he fixes hospital machinery and stuff, and he's been doing it. Well, he's been working at Fuji for 18 years. So and before that, he was doing it. Before he went to work for Fuji, he was working at different hospitals. So he's been working on this, the hospital machinery for a really long time. And so what the doctors told him, that the tumor, which it was way back at the back of his skull, that it was slow growing, and it was from the radiation from the x-ray machines, and he has been growing it for 10 years. And he said that he was having so much weird stuff, like he was feeling really, really sick. He was having all of this weird buzzing and stuff in his head, and how sick he was feeling. And he had no idea, but it was building up. So he did see, it wasn't just a sudden thing. And I don't know if these made it more faster or, I don't know how everything is layers on all of that stuff. But whatever with his, it got him really sick. And so then they went in and they took out 98%, and they're going to start on some sort of chemo, some sort of pill, and they're giving him injections right into his head. And he said he feels like super good. Like he feels so good and so much healthier than he had felt in so long. And he said the noise in his ears has stopped, and he just feels a lot better. But he said he was going to be shocked if they came back and said that he wasn't just, going to live for a long time. And he said there's no freaking way, that he is, because our dad didn't have a liver for, I swear to God, I think it was like 20 or 30 years that he was on, 1% liver function. And he continued to live and live and live and live and live, drinking the whole time, and he went into the hospital several times when they told us he wasn't going to get out. He was going to die in the hospital, and he can get out to live another 10 years, It was crazy. So that my brother's like, I can't, let dad die, live longer than me when he was like so sick. So he does have the fight in him. He is, focused on his health, it seems to me. He may not be taking it as serious of like how important it is to eat clean and all of that stuff, but I think that stuff is going to just keep coming to the surface more and more and more. The stuff I have seen people talking about, is like everybody is seeing that the chemicals, the food, all of that stuff is what's making us sick. That so many people now are aware of the fake sun. They're pointing out all of these different things about it, and that the sun's way too close. It doesn't make any sense. That people are noticing the sky is changing again. That the colors, oh my gosh, the colors, the videos I have seen of the sky colors is insane. I was thinking, like, if you were an observer from like how your higher self is observing you, if you were up there, what it must look like to look down on this, this, because I would call it, I've got all these different words coming into my head, but I always call it that multiplex theater. So it's like a theater of realities happening. And if you look down, I would imagine that there is just crazy colors happening. Like you would look and it wouldn't just be a blue sky. There is more stuff too, where I keep seeing so many people talking about stuff with the sky, and it being like the blue is actually water, and that there is what was it? Something about a submarine. Like, I don't know if somebody was talking about that there was a craft. Like, lots of people are seeing different crafts and catching it. People are catching where they're outside trying to show that the sky is light at 2 in the morning, that it looks like daytime. And then while they were doing the footage, suddenly the lights went out and it went dark. Like, it was the weirdest thing that it all happened just really abruptly like that. And they caught it on footage, but everything feels like the Truman Show. Everything feels super controlled, and everything is falling apart because it's our own consciousness that creates this multiplex theater so that we can go in and live our experience. So all of this is like shattering because we're all questioning it. Well, some people, and the people who I know who are waking up, like, to me, they're still waking up to a lot of their own personal empowerment, looking at things for themselves. They haven't crossed into the whole, what's happening in the world. Like, so many people just don't even have a clue. And the stuff in New York, though, because now I guess they're going to lock it down because of the monkey pox that they say that everybody has it. So it's a serious problem or something. I don't know. And they're telling people to get their bag, but then you talk to some New Yorkers and then they're saying, I haven't seen anything about this. I don't know anything about what you're talking about because I've seen these conversations on TikTok. And the thing that it gets weird is, like, you seriously don't really know which is happening, which isn't happening, where it's happening, if people aren't seeing it, if it's just made up, if it's all just to create more fear and tension. Like, it's crazy because you can't trust anything. Everything is like some sort of a psyop or something. There's I can't believe how many things now I just see as totally, it was just always a psyop. It was always just, bullshit. I've seen so many people now saying about the religious people are the biggest bullies on social media. And I've had it happen with me, like, and other people pointing out, like, this isn't the creator. You are worshiping a different God. There's one creator, but there's multiple gods. And you have to look and see what it is you're worshiping. What is your deity? What is it that you are putting your energy towards saving you, because these people, they are just like mean, like they're bullies. They make people cry. They put people down. They ridicule people, all in the name of God. What in the world God would it be that you are pushing on people? It's like, I don't see how people don't question themselves. They're so busy policing everyone else, they don't even look at themselves and, consider what it is that they're putting energy into. Because if you're going around and bullying people in the name of God, it's not the God that is the creator of all things. That is about love. That's about acceptance. That's how you elevate yourself, is learning to love and accept others and learning to love and accept yourself, which to me, I think is probably one of the hardest things. I've got so many people around me who are struggling in relationships, struggling in everything. Everything is coming to the surface. Everything is coming so that people have to face themselves and face some hard decisions for themselves. And, it's all part of this process, and it's, oh my gosh, it's just kind of like exhausting, that everybody has got so much stuff going on, because even if you aren't there, being a shoulder, energetically we're all linked, so everything feels super intense. And this fucking heat wave, they told us again now, like, heat wave, it was supposed to be raining. I went on and looked at the thing. Now all the rain is gone again. And now they're saying, just high temperatures, heat advisory. And to me, it is it's all in preparation to start the fires. That's what's next. They have floods going on. They are washing out people's houses. They have Oh, the food thing. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So what people are talking about with the food thing of why all these are burning down. The same with like the floods are washing out the tunnels, which, I don't know, but trying to get rid of evidence, and the fires of all of the food places was to wipe away evidence because there's so much evidence coming out, and we know what the evidence is. I mean, they've been feeding us pink goo. All you got to do is start looking it up and find out. It's all the leftovers of the dead. It's disgusting. It's like they didn't name it Soylent Green, they named it pink goo, and they've been feeding it to us and everything. It's in all of our products, and it's just, so many people are seeing that now that, and talking about it. Like the conversations are so much different now than they were just a couple months ago. Oh my gosh, so much different than when I was on Twitter. But still, the shadow ban thing is so frustrating. Like every time I'll post something and it will start getting views, they'll just pull it in tighter. Like every freaking time. And then, especially it's so frustrating because you will have like, you can have hundreds going in an hour, hundreds. And then all of a sudden it will just go just dead stop. And nothing's being viewed, and, it's all minimal. And then again, this morning I got a message from somebody that, I haven't seen your stuff in so long. Did you know you're shadow banned? It's like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating when you're trying to speak out and tell people things and then you're not being heard. It's very frustrating. You're not being heard from people close to you. You're not being heard from, you just feel very stifled. It feels very defeating. And it's super, something, and this I'm sure is the ego, but it's super frustrating when you're talking about certain things. You're not being heard. You can't say, you're just, standing back talking to yourself in a closet somewhere. And you see other people saying the same stuff, and it'd be like 10,000 likes or something. So they're getting to be heard. And then it kind of makes you feel like, oh, so it would seem that I'm just copying them or something, like they're saying it, even though I said it days before that. And I don't know, there's just something about that whole scenario that is very frustrating. And I don't know if it's just like ego triggers, that I've just got to be like, oh, well, at least the word's out there. But the whole thing of the frustration, because mine started all the way back on Twitter. So mine started in 2020 when I started getting shut down and not being able to speak and say things. And, it just has gone on and on and on. And I know I have to be grateful for the fact that how many people I'm seeing are losing their accounts. They're just taking their accounts and shutting it down. They don't even say shit to them. And it is, like in the very beginning when I said that the videos and stuff that are being taken down would be very surprising to people, because people think it's all the censorship is just about these kinds of things, but it's not. It's about thinking for yourself. They don't want that. They don't want you to understand about weeds and herbs and stuff. Those ones are taken down. Anything about self-help, healing, being independent, taking care of yourself, thinking for yourself, all of those things are things that are being taken down. And it's kind of funny too, because I see these people on TikTok who think that Instagram, Facebook, and these other American companies are more censoring and they are trying to shut us down more, but the Chinese is helping us on TikTok to be able to speak out more. It's like, it's not. No, it's not. That's hilarious. The Chinese are just as much a part of this as anybody else. It's so funny too, because I keep seeing this footage pop up of Joe, besides his, speech where he just doesn't blink like a robot, but that he is, they keep showing now because I guess Nancy's flying over there, which I'm just praying to God. This is it. Please, I can shoot goddamn thing down. Shoot it down. Who knows who the fuck is in it? And then I heard she's on a boat and it's just planes flying over her, escorting her boat, and she's coming in by sea. I don't even know. The air and sea thing, though. And then, so to me, it's just like, please, please, please let this be the start. Let's go. Let's fucking go. But the thing that is so crazy is when they keep popping up these stories and showing Joe and showing this other guy, I don't know, Jinping, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't remember names to begin with, especially foreign names. And then when he is, it's the same guy that was at the motherfucking, the Bible swearing thing. You know, when, what was that thing called? It was the swearing in. And it was back then, too, that I was saying, oh, my God, it isn't, what was it? There was something. Oh, yeah, Kamala put the Bible, or put her purse on top of the Bible, so she wasn't swearing on the Bible. Like, it's so weird. Like, these people are so superstitious. So she was swearing on her purse. And I can't remember what Joe's was, but whatever, the swearing in, you know, where they're getting sworn in for their duty to us. And that guy was there the whole time. Every time you would see him, that guy's face was right there. That has got to all be a part of the whole thing. You know, he was there at the swearing in. Now he's there at this, you know, time of war where he's saying, you know, this isn't a game. This is the real thing. They are not practicing now. They're going to shoot us. And, you know, hopefully all of this stuff is going to be what's going to blow shit up, because this is the only way that we're going to move forward, is for something big to happen. Like, we could sit here, you know, I mean, we have been sitting here for months and months and months, waiting and waiting and waiting for something to give. Come on, something's got to give. And then it just goes worse and worse and worse. You know, it just keeps blowing up and blowing up and blowing up. More bullshit, just more stress and more just dragging shit out. Like, seriously, it's a Chinese water torture. But if she goes over there and they shoot, and, you know, when Joe's sick in bed again, and like, who fucking knows? But, you know, is that going to be the segue for the real commander-in-chief to step in? Is it going to be like, how is it that they have already had 2 states that have said that they are not going to authorize there's so many words you can't say, but who they said was, you know, Joe, that they're taking it back. They're like, no, we're not saying that anymore. 2 states. Like, but none of this stuff is on the news that I know of. The news is, from what I understand, they're not even showing stuff about the floods and stuff. Like, I don't know. The stuff I've seen about the floods has been people on TikTok showing their neighborhood and showing their house and stuff. Like, it doesn't seem to me that these people could be making it up and getting all this footage. And then you have other people saying, you know, that's not how, like, I don't know. This whole thing is just so bizarre. This whole thing that is happening is just, it's so bizarre. Like, you know, where people in New York, there's some saying that they're being told there's about to be a nuclear attack, and then other ones are saying they don't even know what you're talking about. Everything's perfectly fine. No problems there. And I don't know. I know here, like, when I got home, you know, I was cleaning out the car the next day, and the neighbor was outside. And so she said something about, how was your trip or whatever. And she said, well, you didn't miss much. It's just been hot, and the power went off. And, you know, they said it was because everybody's running their air conditioner. Okay. I guess that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? So, and then I said, in this conversation, I said, yeah, have you seen what's going on in New York? Like, you know, they're telling those people they need to get a bag together. There's going to be a nuclear attack and stuff. And she just did the same thing of like, no, I haven't seen that. Oh, no. You know, and that was all the way back in 2020 when I was telling her things. And all the things that I told her were real. It was all real stuff. And everything that I told her, she would just be like, no. And sometimes she would run in and look it up. And she'd say, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's all made up. And, you know, to me, the whole thing was she's not questioning anything. Not questioning a goddamn thing. It's like, how many fucking people are around that just don't question anything? Oh, this is life. This is the way it is. This is the way it goes. Oh, this is how we live our life, you know. It's like completely mental. And I did tell my brother yesterday when I was talking to him, I said, because he was telling me, you know, his plan, he's going to work until he's 65. And I think he turns 60 next year. I'm positive he's only 59 because I just turned 61. So if I was born in 61, he was born in 63. My sister was born in 65. And my other brother was born in 67. I'm pretty sure. That was to be the thing. So pretty sure he turns 60 next year. I don't know. I'm horrible with math. Maybe he turned 60 already. No way. Because if I just turned 61, we wouldn't have been 60 at the same time. Yeah. So he's 59 years old. Oh, and what he said too, this was weird. Because I'm sure everybody at his work is. And he said he's worked there 18 years and everybody's really close and loves each other. And, you know, and he said that when he was going into the hospital, so it was 2 days before his surgery, and he's, you know, going into the hospital and stuff like that. And his boss messaged him and said something. And he was like, he didn't understand what he said because it seemed weird. It didn't make any sense. So he messaged him back. And, you know, something like, well, are you going to be here Monday or something to the work? It was something weird. I can't remember. And so my brother said something back to him, like, question, you know, like, you know, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. And tried to call him, but couldn't get through. And so then after his surgery was done, so a couple days later, that he found out that that guy just dropped dead after that, just dropped dead. This is weird too, because this happened to my daughter too. She was talking to her boyfriend, and then he went, she was messaging him all day, wasn't answering, and then she found out he had dropped dead after their call. And this happened to my brother. So his boss dropped dead, 45 years old. And so when I was talking to my brother, he said, I just found out 2 days ago. I don't know what's going on, but it was, they're saying he had just like a huge blood, like an aneurysm or something, just a big blood a vessel just exploded in his head, and he just freaking dropped dead, 45 years old, just out of the blue. And so he goes, I don't know what to expect when I go back to work, because he's supposed to go back to work in a couple weeks. And I said, well, that's when you'll see where your deficits are, and people will notice. And I said, but don't feel bad if people treat you different or whatever, you know, don't feel bad about it or whatever. And he's real positive. He's just like, oh, they all love me. I've been working there for a long time, 18 years. We're all close. I'm not worried about any of that. So, you know, that is true. That is good. You know, he'll go back and they'll all be so happy, you know, and they would just accept whatever stuff is different. But he doesn't know what to expect now that his boss has just dropped dead. And so, you know, how many more people are just going to keep doing that? And I saw another thing talking about where I said those 5 had dropped dead. They were doctors, and I'm pretty sure it's Canada, but it was 5 young doctors who were something. You can look it up because it's, I keep seeing all sorts of people sharing articles and stuff about it. And it was with the 2 triathlons. And one of the people was 27 years old, just dropping dead. And and the news came out right away and said, but it has nothing to do with this stuff. Don't even worry about that. Just run in and get one. And I don't know. I'm so sick of the whole, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the whole fucking thing. I'm sick of people running in and getting these. I'm sick of, you know, all of this consuming poison nonstop. And, you know, I brought home all of these fresh vegetables with no poison on them and stuff. His seeds, he gets his seeds from whatever grew. Like, everything that grows has seeds in it, so he uses those seeds. So, I don't know. I feel like the food I have right now is more healthy. It's a lot more of what our bodies need. And then right away, it's just disappointing knowing I'm going to run out of this and I'm going to have to be back up there buying poison food, buying, plastic lettuce. And I had talked to him about that. I said, I'm so excited to have some real lettuce because the lettuce that they have at the stores is plastic or something. And now I keep seeing stuff about it is something they put on, like some sort of coating or do something so that they can make the stuff last so long in the store. And so it's just more bullshit chemicals and stuff that we're eating for all of the additives to make the food last longer so that they don't lose money. When the whole thing is so fucking ridiculous, when they're sitting there saying that it's too hard on the planet. Well, look, we don't need corporate food. We need everybody to understand that they need to have their own gardens in their own yard. We need people to have more yards so that they can stop packing them into apartments, unless the apartment complex has a huge community garden, and then the people can go out and get their food. Like, that is how to sustain in this world with food without making a struggle on the planet. It's the corporate way is to just destroy. They don't give a shit. And then to tell us that is the problem. Okay. Then there's other solutions, isn't there, besides fumigating us and gassing us and stuff. And then, having to struggle through all of this, trying to survive all of those attacks that we're having. And it's the same shit that they have done over and over and over and over. Gassing us, killing us, and I don't know. I'm just, like, there's so many days where it's just like, if I'm supposed to go now, then, like, I can totally see why people wouldn't be upset. Like, this is just like treachery, trying to stay alive through all of this. It just drags on and on and on. You just see pain and suffering in all these different people. People are just lost. They don't understand anything. Trying to talk to people even about, souls and stuff. It sounds like wackadoo crazy shit to them. They're just, I mean, there's literally people who think that it is important and necessary to be spraying these chemicals up in the sky. They don't even consider that it's killing everything. Now, I was outside the other day. I didn't hear any birds. I didn't hear any birds. I haven't even been seeing them. I saw one squirrel and its tail looked ragged. It didn't look like a big fluffy tail. And, for weeks I was watching the squirrels out in the trees, running and jumping and doing all sorts of stuff. And I come home and, all these needles are just all over my ground as usual. And looks like more and more dead trees. And it's just, man, it is, and just, I don't know, people's attitudes and stuff. I don't know. Today is definitely one of those days where I just feel super burnt out. I watched this movie last night. It was called Cursed. It's on Hulu. And it was like an old-fashioned Transylvania kind of movie, and supernatural. I thought it was good, but I didn't pay close enough attention to it. But it showed the how the gypsies were treated. And I knew that the gypsies, I had heard even in Spokane, because there's a big gypsy population supposedly, and people would talk down on the gypsies all the time and say they'll fuck you over, they'll rip you off and all that stuff. But all the way back, like, man, there's this one part in the movie that is just gruesome. They tie somebody down and then chop their hands and feet off while they're held down, while they're alive. Just, Then they even hung him up like he was what are those things called? Scarecrow. Stuffed him with, just like a scarecrow, and then put him out in a field. I was like, man, the stuff that people have done to people over time is just it's disgusting. And, there has always been people who, that they would just say that these people are not worthy, they're disgusting, they're dirty animals and stuff. I mean, they've done it to the Jews, they've done it to the Irish, they've done it to the Gypsies, they've done it to the blacks, they've done it to the Mexicans, they've done it to the Muslims, they've done it, to everyone. It's all part of the system. It's all part of the division and stuff that they create. But like I've said about a zillion times, it's every single soul has to awaken something inside of them that feels like, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to hurt somebody else. It all has to do with connecting to yourself and feeling, that you don't want to hurt other people. That is, that's this low vibration, it's also low vibration, but it's every soul's duty or, obligation to pull itself free. Like, if you can sit and tell somebody something, and if they don't see it, they don't see it. And, one thing, too, I thought of this morning is, like, I didn't need anybody else to wake me up. I woke myself up. And we have to allow everybody else to, because I know it feels like, that we need to, tell them, show them. If we show them this, if we tell them this, because I have this going on my head all the time. I'll send stuff like, well, if they saw this would wake them up. But really, nothing is going to wake them up until they wake themselves up, until they question something for themselves, until they want to look at something different, until they want to see the truth. And, I don't know how shit is going to play out, like, with all of these people, and how they're so in denial that there's any problem with that. Like, there's so many people sharing stuff about that. And I saw a girl yesterday. I had never seen her before. And she was injured. She's a medical worker. And somebody asked her a question. Well, what is your attitude towards the people who didn't do this then? And so she went into this long explanation of, how upset she was at herself for buying into the fear, and how much she was looking down on other people, thinking they were making people sick. And she said it took her a long time to start realizing, like, all these people are getting together. None of them are doing this. None of them are doing this. And they're all healthy. Nobody's getting sick. And so she had to notice that for herself. And then she got super, super sick with, she's got some weird neurological disease now. I'm not even sure what it is. Some rare thing. Because there's going to be all sorts of rare diseases coming up now that people have, something that they have to deal with forever now. Until we get the med beds. I mean, once we get the military med beds, because this med bed that I went to, like I said, I think it is one that you'd have to have it in your house, and you'd have to use it every day. Like, and then, you would feel better. Stella is way better. She is, she's back to her kind of her whiny self, but now she's going back over, ringing the bell when she wants out. She's acting so much more normal. And this part is still a little, like, saggy, but she's holding her head up better. She just seems way, way better. But she's still kind of whiny, like, and I think it's about her hips and stuff. And could be because I put a big old giant collar on her with this big old, one of these things. So I bought her a collar. She's never worn a collar before. So I keep telling her it's her fancy necklace like Mama's. And she's so cute. God, she is so cute. She's so crazy how she is. The more you connect with these things in nature, the more you see, like, the true connection, like the communication and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's trippy. That to me is like the funnest thing, is connecting with this other species and understanding her and her understanding me. And, it just had me thinking yesterday, like about all of nature and the deers and stuff. And people are like always like the aliens and it's like they don't realize that those are other beings having their own reality. The bugs are, the animals, the trees, everything is its own independent spirit having its own experience. So it's like people don't have any respect for anything unless it's like a human or humanoid or something. And there's so much expansion that is going to be coming. And I think that we need to be connecting with animals and nature, because it's kind of like moves us into that connection with other beings and stuff, because that is definitely coming. I don't know if anybody else has seen the water. I saw it at first with a pilot getting this footage, and there's these 3 giant looks like red pools, like bright red, like not a little red, like bright red, like iridescent red. Like, I don't even know how to explain how bright red this is in the middle of the ocean. These 3 big, looks like big pools. And now the government has shut off this 1,000-mile radius around these things, and has said that, I don't even remember what their excuse is. You can look up about it. There's so many people talking about it now. But to me, they're trying to, these realities are coming out. Realities are showing themselves. Everything is coming to the surface. And, there has always been realities inside the ocean. There's always been craft and aliens and other beings living everywhere. This is all multidimensional. This is all, it's the realization of people to pull themselves out of their own little pod, their own little 3-dimensional pod, and come out of it to realize, oh, my pod was in the middle of all of this, all of these other realities. I was just focused on my reality, but there's tons of realities happening all around you. And at first, in the awakening, you start realizing that, someone in Africa is having a completely different reality than me. Like, we're all living different worlds. Different cities have different realities. Like, we're all totally living different realities. But then when it even starts going in more, and you start connecting, like people connecting to the trees, people connecting to animals. I've seen so many crazy things, like people going out in nature and having an animal come up to them and, eat right out of their hand and stuff. Like, there's a merging of our energies of a connection. I saw this guy, this was really cool. He was out on the lake, and he was in a boat, and I'm pretty sure he was playing guitar, but the fish or something started jumping up out of the water in with the music. It was the coolest looking thing. And I also saw another woman she was playing some music, and there was a big storm. The lightning in the storm started going in sync with her song. It was the trippiest thing. It looked like a light show from a 70s concert or something. It was so crazy. But I think all of that stuff is us realizing our connection to it. And when we realize the connection to it, it expands the relationship, the connection. It is us merging into this other space, if that makes sense. There was a bunch of stuff I was being shown last night, and it had to do with this kind of stuff of this expansion, these relationships, our understanding, all of that stuff. But this is the thing that always, frustrates me, is how this just keeps dragging out. Like, we pick up speed, and it seems like, oh, we're gonna go, and then it just like fizzles out and goes back into Groundhog Day. We just go on and on and on, day after day, nothing happening. well, stuff's happening, but, we need this big impactful moment to happen so that we can start moving in the other direction. And I know I'm always like waiting for this big moment. I know, probably once it gets here, I'll be like, oh my gosh, it was so terrible. I can't believe I was sitting there wanting this to happen. I just feel like no matter how terrible it's going to be temporary, and it's going to turn us in the other direction. And that's what I want. And I know tons of people want that. We all want to go in the other direction. We all want the fortunes to come back to the people, the land to come back to the people, freedom to come back to the people. More people to be introspectively trying to heal themselves and work on themselves, and to know the importance of, healing yourself and the connection that we have with one another and all things. And, all of those things are what I'm more anxious to move into. But I've been doing this awakening thing now, like, well, after my brain injury, then I had to do the healing and stuff. And that was in '09. And that was like a few years. So I don't know. I think it was around 15 or something when I really started waking up. 15 or 16 when I started really waking up. So like this has been going on for years and years and years, of just being called crazy and, not being listened to and stuff. It's just, I'm just really tired of it. And I'm tired of saying stuff and not being heard, and then someone else saying something, the same thing I say, and, everybody can hear them. I feel like I'm trapped in a mirror or something. Like I'm trapped in some sort of reality. I'm pounding on the mirror to get out and nobody can see me or something. I don't know. It just feels weird. Everything feels weird today. And I'm in a kind of shitty mood. I got to get myself into a better mood. I don't know. Sometimes it just hits you how long just keeps going and going and going. And it's just frustrating. And I know we have to feel our emotions. We have to allow these emotions to come up. We have to look at them deeper. We have to acknowledge all of what we're going through. And it is very frustrating what we're going through. And, I'm ready. I know tons of other people are ready for something to shift. Just, we'll deal with what happens. But this Groundhog Day, every day of just being poisoned and, having these traumatic things, these little things happening all over, like, you're being gassed and then you're watching someone lose everything that they own. All of their things are out there. They're got dead family members, and it's just, this is rough. Now Stella's up. So anyways, I don't think I was giving anything uplifting today. There was more stuff. I felt like I was really organized in what I was going to talk about. But I still feel like there was a bunch of stuff I was going to talk about and I never even got around to it. And I just feel like that is kind of like my block. Like that's what I feel like. Something is blocking inside of me. Like I feel just really super frustrated and really just blocked right now. So, and I'm sure that is something with the energy. I know there was something big about the energy today, the 31st. There was something, I don't know. I mean, there's just one after another. Lionsgate this, red full moon that, like all these different things. It's like, okay, well, we need one of these things to make something fucking happen. Something's got to happen. Something's got to move us out of this stagnant, being poisoned to death and watching everyone die. So anyways, I'll go deal with her and I'll talk to you later. Bye.